Okay, guys, but welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here in beautiful Valletta. What a beautiful venue. A very important time for this topic around iGaming regulation. Before we go into regulation, can you maybe share with the audience a bit about what aggregation is and what services that SDG offers as well?
Sure, let me fill you in
start, Dom?
there.
Brilliant.
So, first of all, thanks for staying for regulation. Everyone usually leaves at this point. It's usually coffee time.
Smart
coffee
people.
time. So thank you very much. That's appreciated. So look, I'll talk a bit about our platform first in the interest of neutrality. There are other platforms that are available as well. So we're not here to pitch you today. We're here to talk about regulation. So our platform, OGS, is our market-leading aggregation platform, and as you'd guess, we connect content creators to operators. So on our platform, we're connecting around 70 different content creators to over 170 customers worldwide. We're doing over 3.5 billion game rounds a month, so it's a big platform, substantial. Do you know who Bad Bunny is, Royston?
I've heard of Bad Bunny, yes.
Bad Bunny is
a musical artist.
He is the most streamed artist on Spotify last year. And our leading studio, which happens to be our own studio by chance, stream more streams than Bad Bunny streams songs. So there you go. So we're playing against Spotify and the big guys.
Outstanding.
And so that's what we do. Big scale aggregation platform. We're from SG, so we're quite corporate, quite American. Good luck, aristocrat. Let's see how that goes for those guys. But we're big and we're corporate. We play on the safe side of the business. We're very cautious. So we operate in regulated markets around the world. We probably operate in, I think, every major regulated market: US, Canada, and of course across Europe as well. So we're kind of regulated market specialists, really. So when you look at, that's our platform. When you look at what aggregation is, what we really do is we take complexity away from people. So in the past, it was about getting as many integrations done as you could, integrate as many people as fast as you can, and all these big operators had huge departments integrating 10, 20, 30 partners, and then they realized aggregation takes that pain away. What you operators want to do is you want to market to players, you want to have great brands, you want to communicate with players, you don't want to get bogged down in the IT of it. So we've done that. And what I think we've realized in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, maybe a bit longer, is actually when you take complexity away, we're not just making it easier, excuse me, we're also making it, we're taking away the new complexities around regulation. So we spend a lot of our time now making sure that our operators and our partners are regulated in markets. We bring them in on time. We understand the challenges. We deploy solutions that work for them and get them there painlessly. So that's the promise of aggregation.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like, you just make things easier for everybody.
It's all about making life easy. Not for us, it gets harder for us, yeah? It's easier for everybody else, but harder for us.
That's it. You take the pain so they don't have to. I love it. That's an attractive offer. Okay. And coming over to yourself, Andrew. Now, we all know there's a lot of change and a lot of pressure, particularly in European regulation. And I know that's one of your specialist subjects. What do you think the biggest pressures are facing this industry in this area?
So it's interesting. It's never dull, right?
Never a dull moment. Yeah.
Never dull. But I think the first thing I would want to say is that I rail a little bit against the idea of pressure and pain and complexity and regulatory burden and whatever else. For me, this is part of the opportunity cost of going into those markets, being legit, being licensed, legal, and regulated as we want to be. And so, I'm fairly new to SG, so this is me cutting my teeth in B2B. But for me, quite a bit of dealing with the burden, because when it lands on our desks, as daily business, it is pressure and it is hard work, and it does distract us from the exciting things that we want to get on and do. But if we can, at least at that high level, recognize that this is about the opportunity cost getting into the market, it's the job of work we need to do, it's an active decision. We're going to go after that market, or we're going to maintain ourselves in that market and roll with whatever the regulatory change comes. If we can get our mindset correct, culturally, we're all dialed in. That's the starting point. So pressures aside, day-to-day work, it is. But that would be my starting point. But sort of moving from there, look, we maintain a team of generalist product compliance folk at SG. But compliance isn't our job alone. And again, culturally, we need teams right across the business dialed into this job of work.
So I think we see the compliance sometimes is seen as a scary thing. Licensing can be daunting. The changes happening are worrying, and they can go too far. And look what's happened in Germany. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, we kind of think that's pretty tough. Okay, it's more than just regulation around that, but it's pretty hard. But regulation in the right way is necessary for us. We want to be sustainable. Yeah, we want to be here in 10 years' time, having the same great conversations. Seeing each other and kind of having great kind of growing businesses. And I think we need to look back, and the world has changed, and the idea of going back to the old days is not there anymore. So compliance is with us, it's staying with us, and we need to embrace it and do it in the right way. And fundamentally, we need to go and work with those regulators, work with our partners and customers, and we need to kind of make sure we keep tidying our act up as an industry, which I think we've done a great job in the last few years. But we need to embrace it. And actually, if we do a good job doing the basics right, then there's more chance we can head off the next Germany as well.
And you mentioned our partners. That's obviously a key focus for us. We've got our in-house content. We're obviously across that, but the more that we can do to support our partners, the better. Very many of them, I'm sure quite a few represented here, increasingly have very sophisticated compliance teams. They know their apples, but there are plenty of smaller studios too, not yet geared up for it. So where we can take complexity out of that, for sure.
Yeah.
Look, the changing landscape is what it is, and we have to roll with the good and the bad of it. But
Absolutely. Well, to be honest, both of you are exuding the kind of attitude I would expect for people that look after regulation and take, the pain away. You don't feel the pain. To you, it's like a challenge to be embraced and an opportunity.
Get up every morning and
fantastic. I love it. I love it. That's exactly what one needs to hear. So what do aggregators like yourself bring to the party? I mean, if you want to dive a bit deeper in there, and a bit of a leading question here, a bit of a provocative question, do you help or hinder operators staying live and staying legal?
Well, I'd like to ask our operators that question. They may have a very different view than me, but from our side, what we do is we do a couple of things. Yeah, so we bring intelligence and we bring solutions. So in terms of intelligence, we have a huge, bird's eye view of what's happening globally. If an operator is operating in a number of markets, but not yet in new markets, so looking what's happening in Ontario right now, and Europeans looking to go into there where they perhaps haven't got experience of North America generally, because we operate in every territory, every regulated territory globally, that means we have a really good experience of knowing how to deal with those regulations. We know how to engage with regulators, and we can bring some intel and information. We're always keen to kind of share our best practice across all our operators, and we can do that. So we have this kind of global insight. We also, by the way, we have a great position to see how trends are playing out, what's happening, which studios are working well, which aren't working well, how we can help them get better and understand why things aren't performing in certain markets. So we have that great position, great kind of global kind of look down position, and we use that. And then beyond that, we also have the tooling we have as well, the ways we can get people regulated. So if you look at what's happening in a week and a half to UK, you look at what's happening, it's happening in other markets around the world, in Germany, other markets. We have tools that we've developed over time that enable us to keep our customers compliant and also keep partners compliant. I think, keep those small studios who can't possibly go and invest in 10 different solutions for 10 different operators. We can act as that kind of, abstraction. We can build that bridge between that helps keep everyone compliant. So our tools right now, we're deploying them in the UK, we deploy them in Germany. They keep people compliant in Sweden every day. They're into Ontario, which is happening right now, the same tooling again. So, so we see that ability to give those network level tools as a huge sort of benefit of being with an aggregator. If you're integrating everybody individually, and every other operator is as well, you've got an awful lot of solutions vying for people's time and space.
Yeah. Right, totally. So yeah, that's an interesting point. It's not about, not just about the tools and the services you offer, but the fact that you have that global overview by virtue of what you're doing that can be kind of very targeted intelligence that you provide to your clients. Right, interesting point. And where do you see your place, coming over to yourself, Andrew, where do you see your place in the regulatory ecosystem? What insights and experience would you say that you can bring to operators and regulators to help mold future regulation? Is that something that you can have an input in?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things to say. Our place in the ecosystem, we sort of touched on it already. It's very much, we're not just about compelling content. We're a RegTech solution provider of a different sort of guise than those we would perhaps naturally conjure up in our minds. But away from that, B2B, in my experience, at least, with maybe a few exceptions, we're not that active in the kind of the lobbying for change, the dealing with calls for evidence, consultations, all of that stuff. We're not at the front line of the regulatory battle, pursuing the good changes that we all want. But we got a lot of that data, network level, aggregated, anonymized customer data. It's not as rich at a sort of individual operator level where you know your players and you've got all that demographic information. But behaviorally, as I say, you talk about the changes at the end of October for the UK GC. We can look at player data before, player data after, pick out the unintended consequences, see what was the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. We ought to be using that data more actively in future consultations. So a bit of a sort of a call to your audience really is to where you work with us, look for opportunities to use us that way. We will certainly be more in the room and in the conversation when it comes to regulatory change in the future.
We've got some great insights, and we've got some really great insights we can share, and we'd love to work more closely with some of you guys on that as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's important.
Fantastic. So you have that helicopter view. I mean, obviously there's an element of anonymization because it's many different clients, but that's the kind of secret sauce, is that you have that huge breadth of view that you can offer as a tool of insights to the industry, to regulators, and your doors are kind of open to work with them. That's what I'm getting. Just so people are aware, and I don't know if you can mention this kind of thing, but are there any clients or companies that you work with that you'd like to give a name check to so people can get an idea, or is it all top secret? I mean, sometimes it is. Tell me.
Well, I think we work with most of you in various guises. I mean, you look at the usual suspects, in the UK, people like, kind of Sky Bet, who are very, very progressive in their view. They're really forward-looking.
Fantastic.
All of our major Europeans are looking at partners like Leo Vegas, 888, all the rest of you guys as well, increasingly engage with us now, and we really appreciate that. There's a lot more closeness in the way we work towards regulation, so appreciate that. And, I think the next one, I won't mention names, but, what's happening in North America now is going to be absolutely fascinating, and that's the new regulatory battleground. Really interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a whole very interesting and opportunistic can of worms that is just opening and evolving as we speak. So if folks are here sitting in the audience, they're working for a regulator, they're working for an operator, and they're like, yeah, that sounds interesting, I'll have some of that. How can people get in touch with you? How can they see you here at iGaming Next Valletta? What's the next steps for them?
So first of all, we'll be around the place. Come and find us and say hello. We'd love to catch up and see you all. And our names are there as well. So get us on LinkedIn. I think probably the best thing to do. And we'd love to come and spend some time and meet you.
And it's not just us. We've got a smattering of other colleagues here today as well. So we'll all be out on the exhibition floor and having some lunch and. Looking forward to chatting. Fantastic.
You'll be doing the good stuff. You'll be networking. You'll be hanging around, joining us for drinks at 5:30 today, I believe, on the beautiful rooftop, which is absolutely stunning. The best view in Valletta, I promise you. Okay, we are actually out of time. Wow. So, guys, if you have, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Dom and Andrew, find them at the drinks, find them over lunch, and get yourself some of that fantastic outsourced wonderful overview and data and all of the good stuff. So, ladies and gents, please join me in saying thank you to Dominic and Andrew from SG Digital. Thank you so much for joining us here at iGaming Next Valletta. Wonderful.